translate English into Japanese virtually instantaneously. The computer screen displays two columns. You enter text in English in one column, and the computer displays the Japanese translation on the other side. Fujitsu also announced Atlas II, which translates from Japanese into English. That's it for this week's Chronicles. We'll see you next time.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible by Leading Edge, makers of IBM-compatible computer systems, including word processing with spelling correction, communication software, and Hayes-compatible modems. Leading Edge, with over 1,000 service centers nationwide. Leading Edge, leading the way to the information age. Additional funding is provided by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte. Byte's detailed technical articles on new hardware, software, and languages cover developments in computer technology worldwide.
Local broadcast of Computer Chronicles is underwritten in part by the Information Management Group, Incorporated. The Information Management Group, Incorporated, dedicated to meeting the computer needs of high-tech Pittsburgh, today and into the future. The Doctor Who Tour. Watch out, Pittsburgh, it's coming here. We're just hanging out with Pittsburgh's quite extraordinary new station, QEX Channel 16.
Hold it, it's a pledge break. Okay, happy Sunday to you. Good afternoon. We have the Doctor Who feature coming up in just a moment on QEX 16. And, of course, since it's Sunday night, it's the big event. We have a big event for you tonight. If you're a Fawlty Towers fan or a Ripping Yarns fan or a Laurence Olivier fan, starting off at 7 o'clock right after Doctor Who, we're running four straight half-hour segments of Fawlty Towers with John Cleese and his wife. And then right after that, we're going to run two back-to-back half-hours of Ripping Yarns with Michael Palin. Then after that, it's Laurence Olivier with his classic from back in the late 1930s, 1936, I believe it is, mid-1930s, The Divorce of Lady X. So lots of good programming for you coming up right after the Doctor Who feature, which is going to be along in just a few minutes. However, we want to talk a little bit of business with you, okay? We want to have you part with your money, send it on to us. Here's what the deal is. If you've been watching Channel 16 even off and on, you probably know that we're public television here in Pittsburgh. We don't run commercials. That's not how we make our money. We make our money. The biggest portion of the money that we make, the most important portion of it, is asking you to share in the cost of the programming. And you can do that right now by dialing this number, 622-1555. Since we don't run commercials, we obviously need money to buy the programs like Doctor Who, the Doctor Who episode that you're going to see in the next few minutes. Best way to make that money is to ask you to share in the cost by dialing 622-1555. So important that I feel that this is that I brought along my boss, Ken Tiven, the station manager here at Channel 16. He's the guy that makes up the budget. He sits down every few months or so and says, listen, hey, how much money do we have? What programs do we want? And if he doesn't have enough money for the programs that you want to watch, hey, they don't get on the air, do they?
They don't. We may yet have to run an entire day of me sitting here snoozing in the chair. No, seriously, let me just take off my magic Doctor Who shirt. And it's straight talk on a Sunday. PJ and I have done Pledge before. You have no doubt seen Pledge before. And we are not here to play games with you. We appreciate those of you who are calling in response to the flashing 622-1555. The phone operators are taking your pledges. 30, 60, 90, 120, more if you choose. It costs money to run a television station. We are doing the kinds of things that we think you all want to see. We're gratified at the response and gratified at the level of pledging. But we have to pledge, and we need some money. You can charge it, you can send it in, you get the premiums. The premiums are terrific in the whole Doctor Who thing. I just reach over here to my magic prop thing. Hang on, Len, I'll just hold it up. It'll make it real easy. There it is. Can you see that? That's it. Hi, Mom. Listen, $60 pledge gets you the Doctor Who fan club, the newspaper, the Doctor Who pin, and actually, I'm going to pledge $60 so they can do this board over because it's been sort of shabbied up a little bit. Here, have a piece. Listen, seriously, we're going to show you Doctor Who, and then we're coming back with Fawlty Towers, and we know, because you've blown our ears off with the requests for the Fawlty Towers, John Cleese is going to do it. He plays a character called Basil, except occasionally around here we call him Basil, which is an herb, and that makes people crazy because in England his name is Basil, nasally Basil. In any event, Cleese comes along and does his thing, and then some of his colleagues from the Monty Python gang come along thereafter. But you need to remember that we need a little help. You pick the phone up, you give us a call. It's 30, 60, 90. We'll take it any way you want. The pledge premiums are terrific. And you don't have to, I want to let you in on a secret, you don't have to decide now what the pledge premium is. You could do a $60 deal. When we send you the confirmation, you get a long laundry list of pledge things. You look at it. You really see a pledge thing for 120 or 180 that you like, you can check that. You can send 180 back and take the other pledge option. So the pledge premium thing is sort of an enticement, an inducement. Some would even say a bribe. Hi, Wayne. In any event, there it is, right there, family television, premiums you wouldn't believe. This one is 120. Send in 119 and send me a note. I'll get you $1 off. I'll make sure you get this one.
Bob and new VJ.
That's
Are
Wayne.
you firing me?
No,
You're replacing me already.
That's
Holy
our man.
man. Oh, okay.
So we got to keep this place clean.
So I'm still on?
You're still on.
okay,
Do
good. 622-1555 is the number. Ken was telling you about some of the Whovian premiums we have. This is one of my favorites here. Hardback, there it is, a hardback edition of Doctor Who, The Key to Time. Now, this takes us back to the very inception of Doctor Who, back in the early 60s, 1963, and takes us right up to the present time. The whole history of the program, going through the various actors that played the Doctor from time to time. This is one of the premiums. Now, if you phone in right now, for example, and say, I want to pledge $120, this would be one of the premiums that you would qualify to ask for. And frankly, you know, for the Whovians out there, I think the best deal is the club membership that Ken was talking about earlier. For $60, a mere $60, which translates into, you know, just a few dollars a month when spread out over 12 months, you become a member of the Doctor Who fan club. You get the Doctor Who a membership card. You get the Doctor Who pin, which changes colors with the change in temperature. And the biggest thing really is the Whovian Times, which is a quarterly and comes out and gives you all sorts of late information regarding Doctor who the new actors are, what the episodes are that are coming up, some background on the people that are writing the Doctor Who episodes, all sorts of information that you're not going to find in the popular press or anywhere else. It's a good deal.
And I have to tell you, and I have to sort of let out a sneak preview word that the Doctor Who traveling exhibit may just be in our city. It may be here.
He's being real coy. It is going to be here.
June 13th.
Okay, you lined it up.
We
Station Square, right?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, okay.
We're being very secretive about
Okay.
that. I also want to point out this book. I love this book because it's got a great section on all the companions of the Doctor. And I want to leave you as we enter this 90-minute swirl of Doctor Who with the following notion. That in more than 75% of the villain cases, the villains on Doctor Who are always green. The Slimies are green, the Swampies are green.
They were green clothes.
Is the color of villainy on this show. In any event, green is also the color of money, and we need it. You got it. Send it in. You keep it coming. We'll keep the TV coming. Here's the show.
Hi, Pittsburgh. You're watching WQEX-16, quite exciting television, also for us kids.
Oh, I love that Doctor Who. Honest to God. I mean, the guy triumphs over all sorts of green, slimy evil, and he never fails to have an attractive, though sometimes a little tart, as a companion. It is unbelievable. Personally, it may be sci-fi, but I think it has a comedy streak that underlies all of it. PJ Maloney is here with me. PJ, we've been through 90 minutes of the doc. We're about to go into more Britcom.
Speaking of unbelievable, huh?
Speaking of unbelievable, we're about to do Fawlty Towers.
Yeah.
And you've asked for Fawlty Towers, and boy, are you going to get Fawlty Towers. You get 4 episodes, 2 hours of Fawlty Towers. In any event, whichever camera you want me to look at, I'll look at the one where the pledge breaks are coming in. You know why we're here. 622-1555. If you're a Doctor Who fan, call us and give us a hand on the money. Here's your option, folks. We got some interesting Doctor Who news. We're prepared, under certain circumstances, to run Doctor Who twice in the fall. Not the same episode, but we'll run Doctor Who at 7:30 Monday through Friday and at 5:30 on Sundays like today, as we've done since the day we signed this television station on a Thursday, on the 16th of October. We'll also run Doctor Who at 4 in the afternoon or 11 at night or at 10:30. You give us some guidance when you call in and you talk to various phone operators. Give us some guidance on which show you want to see. We did this earlier in a pledge break. The Peter Davison and the John Pertwee, the Who shows that surround the Tom Baker series that we've chosen to run first, are the big hitters. That's what you all seem to want to see. But we can double up on Doctor Who. It costs money. It costs money to run this television station. You may want to talk for a minute about the kind of Iran hearings, the range of kinds of things we do. We can't do it without your help. This is straight talk on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, PJ and I are not sitting behind any fancy anchor desk. You can see our knees. Some of us even have shoes and socks on. I mean, this is real stuff, but you got to go to the phones. You got to join the people who are calling in now. You've got to offer your support in $30, $60, $90 increments. You give us $90 over a year. I mean, what's $90 divided by 12? About $8.
I have no idea. It's not very much.
Not a lot. I mean, you could buy dinner at a fast food restaurant on that. It's not a big deal.
And you can put it on your plastic, too. Visa, MasterCard, whatever. I want to talk to the Whovians, though. Where am I? Am I over here? Okay. I want to talk to the Whovians, and I'll tell you what the straight scoop is on all of you folks who watch Doctor Who. And this is the stuff that I hear around the studio. I come in, several nights a week to do whatever it is I do around here. But when we do pledges, one thing that I do know as a result of talking to the people here, and that is the biggest support by far comes from the people who watch Doctor Who. When we do a pledge break before a Doctor Who on the weekend or during the week, and after Doctor Who, the phones are lighting up. That means that you are good, regular, loyal Channel 16 watchers and your Doctor Who watchers. And you know the good quality of the programming that comes from Britain, the Doctor Who. And you Whovians also know that there are constantly new Doctor Who's being done. There are all sorts of Doctor Who's that have not been put on the air yet, obviously, because we haven't been on the air that long. So there is plenty of product out there. And as Ken mentioned, it costs a ton. But listen, if the Whovians are phoning in to give us their money and to pledge their money and share in the cost of the programming, we have the wherewithal to go out and buy that stuff and put it on the air. Ken was talking about running 2, maybe even 3 Doctor Who's on a day. Not the same episode, not repeating the same thing at all, but running different episodes from different eras in the Doctor Who filming and the taping.
PJ, how about a 24-hour Doctor Who festival?
Could do it.
We'll do wall-to-wall Doctor Who. We'll start it some afternoon. Start on a Saturday afternoon. We'll run 24 hours of Doctor Who. I mean, we can do it. You can do it by indicating in the clearest manner I know that you support this television station by sending us a contribution. We don't enjoy pledge. If we could find an alternative to pledge, we would. The federal government has cut significantly over the last decade the funding of public television. We do not run commercials. We do not assault you with advertisements for products that you wouldn't want anybody under 21 to know about, let alone see on television. There is a modicum of good taste, even exhibited in the pledge breaks that we create here at this television station. Not easy, mind you. I mean,
modicum is the key word there.
Modicum is the key word. Taste is all in the eye of the beholder. 622-1555. If you don't call now, if the lines are busy, if you can't get through to the big bank of phone operators right here in this very studio, then wait 5 minutes, wait 6 minutes, and call us. Happy to talk to you all evening long. We're going to be here all evening. We're going to pledge all night. We want to raise, millions tonight. Mostly what we want to do is talk to you all and get a sense that the support's there. Again, the pledge premiums are legend. And the premiums, you know, are our way of saying thank you. We appreciate what you're doing. This is the one I look my best. The Doctor Who thing. I've had this on before, and it feels so good.
So that's the modicum of taste you were talking about. Here's another one.
Look, you just pick this book up no matter what you do. The TARDIS is more than a machine. It's like a person. It needs coaxing, persuading, and encouraging. Do you know what Doctor Who episode that came from? Possibly one of the most famous Doctor Who episodes ever. I'll read you the quote again. Think about it. The TARDIS is more than a machine. It's like a person. It needs coaxing, persuading, and encouraging. That is from the Five Doctors. We have run the Five Doctors. This is the kind of stuff that's terrific. $120 pledge, $10 a month. You can read this. It's great. You can pick it up in places where you need a quick read. You all know where that is, and it's real easy. And I mean, what more can the television station offer you than good premiums and good programs? And that's what we've got. PJ, take us into this next Fawlty Towers.
The point I wanted to make a few seconds ago, where am I? Oh, there we are. The point I wanted to make a few seconds ago is that the Whovians are super, and those of you who haven't pledged, I think now is the time to get to the phone. 622-1555. Let's go to Fawlty Towers. Oh, we're going to go to Fawlty Towers. Now we're going to go to Fawlty Towers.
From the beta deck of the Gateway Clipper Majestic, you're watching Quite Extraordinary Television, QEX Channel 16, Pittsburgh.
If you think you're about to get an 8 or 9 or 10-minute pledge assault from the Pledge Brothers, P.J. Maloney and Ken Piven, you are not. This is a brief reminder that we're in pledge. The number is 622-1555. You know how to pledge. You know what to do with the money. We're going to keep this one short.
John and Connie Cleese are going to be coming up in a second. We're just sort of dipping in here to remind you that the phone number there on the screen is the one to call, and we're going to be back a little bit later on to remind you again. Plenty of Fawlty Towers coming up. Hey, you've only seen one of the many episodes that we have coming up. Also, Ripping Yarns later on, and a movie, The Divorce of Lady X, all kinds of stuff. But the phone number is important, and we'll tell you more about why it's so important later on.
Watch it, enjoy it, and remember, you're seeing it on Pittsburgh's most extraordinary television station, QEX-16. Occasionally on, depending on which cable system you're watching us on, we could be 23, 16, 4, anything. Now the show.
The station preferred by couch potatoes more than 2-to-1. QEX Channel 16 in Pittsburgh.
I tell you, how many times do you have to see these shows? I mean, they're as funny as we got some big. This is no, just stick with us here. This is 622-1555. It's pledge night. It's Fawlty Towers, and we're like gonzo. I mean, we're gone. Everybody's gone. Here it is. This is big stuff. I don't know which camera you're taking this on, but if you call in now with a $240 pledge, we have for you, unbelievably, 4 collector's edition unautographed pictures.
They're not cluttered with ink or anything like that, you know?
I mean, these are, truthfully, honestly, these are collectors. All right, look, let's get serious, as they say. Let's wake up and smell the coffee. Basil, we need coffee at the table, right here. Seriously, P.J. Maloney, it's Pledge Brothers night here on a Sunday, and, you know, I mean, we're having a rough time with it.
We have one. Right. We have one. No,
Money,
2 more to go.
Look, we got 2 more to do. We got to go into Ripping Yarns. I mean, Ripping Yarns has got the funniest program descriptions ever written. But first, the business at hand is stop laughing. Don't laugh at the shows and don't laugh at us. Get up, get to your phone, call, dial now, 622-1555, 30, 60, 90, 120, any amount you want. You've got to give us a hand here because this is your poorest, little, newest, strangest, most eccentric, etc. public television station. We're working our hearts out to bring you the kind of programming you want. You love Fawlty Towers. You said Fawlty Towers was the thing. We gave you Fawlty Towers. and we've given it to you in large doses. I mean, even we think it's pretty funny.
I'll tell you how strange this television station is. The guy sitting next to me is Ken Tiven, the general manager. This is the kind of stuff we have to deal with. He's the grand high poobah. He's the guy that calls the shots. Hey, it's a great television station, not only to work at, but to watch, too. 622-1555 is the telephone number. Tell you what, I'm going to pass along some inside information to you. Generally, or sometimes anyway, when you see these pledge breaks, they seem to go on and on forever and ever. You're sitting there waiting for the program to come on the screen, and there's some face talking at you, trying to get some money out of you. This pledge break is going to last, about another 4 minutes or so. So you can go out to the refrigerator now or some other room in the house. But let me extract a concession from you before you leave the living room, okay? Or wherever it is you're watching television. Give us a call either now or later on, 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now. 622-1555 is the telephone number. You probably have seen several pledge breaks, and for one reason or another, you decided not to go to the phones. Let me see if I can motivate you now. Get you to go to the phone and give us a holler at 622-1555. Tonight, we're showing Fawlty Towers, and later on, it's going to be Ripping Yarns, and we have a good Laurence Olivier movie for you. From time to time through the week, I'm sure that we're carrying lots of stuff, or maybe just some stuff that you want to tune into. We can't do that unless we get you to share in the cost of the programming. And we do that, that's right, we all do that by dialing 622-1555 and making a pledge. That way we can continue with the quality programming that we have, and who knows, we might be able to buy some better stuff that we currently can't afford. 622-1555 is the telephone number. Okay, where do we stand now? What's going on?
What I want to know is, I have a very simple question. When you accept a pledge in pounds sterling, given that all of the programming tonight is British.
Seems reasonable to me.
Okay. Pound sterling, current exchange rate, will take your money. We're not really fussy. In any event, what have we got? We're going into one more ripping...
two more Fawlty Towers.
Two more Fawlty Towers. Laugh along with us, pledge along with us, and we'll see you in a bit.
We're going up, up, up in the ratings. We're QEX-16, Pittsburgh, PA.
I refuse to smile in this break. I'm not going to last very long. This is a pledge break. This is serious business. You know it's serious business. We're here on a Sunday. We're working 6 days this week.
Call this work?
This is work. 622. It's not hard to watch this television station. 622-1555. WQEX Pledge. You've seen Pledge. You've never quite seen it like this. It's the Pledge Brothers, PJ and Ken. It's a Sunday night here in Pittsburgh. And you'd better call and give, or we're going to send somebody to your house. You haven't given. You're watching for free. Not fair. We've expended a lot of time and energy to bring you these shows. This is a mini break. We're going to stay here for about another minute. It's your minute.
Okay.
Do with it as thou wishest.
Okay, we might not even take a minute. We're just going to be around here for a few seconds anyway, just to remind you that the phone number is 622-1555. We're going to get right back to the last segment we're running tonight of Fawlty Towers. Then it's on to Ripping Yarns, a couple of segments of that, and then Laurence Olivier with the Divorce of Lady X, a movie he made back in the 1930s. The whole point is, I mean, we can sit here and goof around and say, hey, you better call in and, with the money. But that's not really what the message is. The message is it costs a lot of money for us to buy the programming that you watch on Channel 16, and we don't have commercials. We're not allowed to by law. So the best way to raise the money is to ask you people to phone in, dial 622-1555, if you use Channel 16 and if you like the programming, and help share in the cost of it. And if enough of you share in the cost of the programming, the quality, of course, continues or it improves, because Ken, the station manager, will have a little bit more money, a little bit more flexibility when it comes time to make out the budget and decide what programs he's going to have on the air. So that, in a nutshell, is it. The phone number is 622-1555. Give us a holler. In the meantime, is it time to go back to the show yet?
It's time to go back to the last of the Fawlty Towers. And I have a question for you before we go away. Why do we always use the same phone number? Think about that. We'll be back in a little bit.
We're the light at the end of the tunnel. QEX-16 in Pittsburgh.
Hi, QEX-16, a Sunday night. The Pledge Brothers doing a little money raising here if we can. You've just seen 4 episodes of Fawlty Towers. You are about to see 2 episodes of Ripping Yarns. Sometimes I think that what goes on at this television station is a lot like Fawlty Towers or Ripping Yarns. sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark. We stay one jump ahead of the sheriff. Nevertheless, we have for 7 or 8 months brought you some of the strangest, most wonderful television, we think, and we are gratified at your response, at the kind of contributions you've made as we seek to buy the programming you want with your money. Right, it's a good deal. We run the TV station, we take your money, and we buy the programs. I mean, it can't go wrong. Before I get into a little description about ripping yarns, because I think the descriptions are as funny as the shows.
Yeah.
What do you got to say for yourself?
Well, the only thing I have to say is, remember the last pledge break, you signed off with, why is it we only have one telephone number here to take the pledges? And, of course, the reason is, telephone company has seen Tiven's credit rating, and that's all they're going to give them. 622-1555 is the only telephone line we have coming in here to the studio, and that's exactly where you're going to be on the telephone, right here in the studio, when you dial in at 622-1555 to make your pledge. You can do it with MasterCard or Visa. You don't have to say, I'm going to send a check right away for $120. Put it on the MasterCard or Visa. Spread the payment out over a period of time. Even if you pledge and you don't use plastic, you can spread it out over 12 months. Therefore, a pledge of $120 comes out to only $12 a month. $120 does sound like a big chunk of money. It is for me if I sit down and write out a check for $120. But listen, $10 a month for most of us is, it's a case of beer or whatever, but it's not really that hard to come up with.
What kind of beer are you drinking?
Huh? Rolling Rock, usually.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, okay.
Keep going.
He drinks the foreign stuff, expensive. Anyway, what was I saying? Something about we need money to buy good programming here on QEX-16. It's as simple as that, like the ripping yards that are coming up.
Let me just give you an example that how could you not buy a program that's described this way? In 1927, one of Britain's least-known explorers, Captain Walter Snetterton, set out with hand-picked frogs for the first amphibian assault on the Andes. Didn't you have mountain climbers on recently?
Yeah, well, just Friday, 2 nights ago.
Do you think they had any frogs?
Not that they were aware of.
Okay. But once in the steamy foothill township, which was to become his base camp, he found problems for which he had never allowed: fear, superstition, and savage, but rather pleasant, primeval lusts, forcing him to change his plans dramatically and to risk life and limb for the cause in which he believes so passionately. It is called Across the Andes by Frog. And if you think every known cliche in the land of British comedy has been used in this show, you are right. This is funny stuff. Ho, ho, ho. Seriously, as funny as the programs are, the serious business at hand is pledge. I mean, pledge is sort of, think of it like the PTL Club, except instead of Tammy and Jim, you get PJ and me. I mean, we don't sing and we don't dance and we don't do those other things either. So, I mean, how can you go wrong? Across the Andes, Across the Andes by Frog. Well, there goes the evangelical vote tonight. PJ, what have you got to say?
And that was my audience, too. I'm real big with the evangelical, whatever they are. 622-1555 is the telephone number. And Ken Tiven's home phone number, by the way, in case you want to talk to him about that, is 555-1222. Give him a holler. Call him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, seriously, we have... I was telling the story, I think it was the other night, about a week ago last night, Saturday. I was sitting at home with my son. I guess it was about 10 o'clock, 9:30 at night, watching the hockey game. And I was, paging through the TV guide during a commercial, and I noticed that the greatest years of television was on Channel 16, and they were playing Sky King. So I said, whoop, off with the hockey game over to Channel 16, and I watched a half an hour or 45 minutes or so, and my son was sitting there saying, boy, what kind of crap, what kind of stuff were you, what did I almost say? I didn't almost. What kind of stuff were you watching back in the 1950s? And we just had a good time watching Channel 16 for a half an hour or 45 minutes. And that's the kind of a television station it is. It's stuff that you're not going to see on any other television station. We know that you're not watching us 12 hours a day or 24 hours a day. You're tuning in to watch the stuff that you want to watch. And obviously, if we're going to have that on the air, if we're going to have it on the air, we need to have the money to pay for it. And we're asking you to share in the cost at 622-1555. There's something on the tip of your tongue. What is it?
Yeah, and I want to point out to people that unlike a lot of establishments where there's a minimum cover or a minimum charge, they won't take a master charge for less than $10. There's no minimum amount of viewing necessary before you can pledge. Whether you've watched a minute or whether you've watched hours, you can pledge. So, you don't even have to watch to pledge. You know, I mean, it's not void where prohibited or any of those things. You can just pick. You don't even have to own a television. You can pick it up, pick the phone up, give us a call at 622-1555 and pledge. We are about to do the Andes by Frog, and then we are going to do the testing of Eric Olfwaite.
Yeah.
So unutterably boring is Eric that his parents run away from home. That's what it says. Lack of brain cells prevents the boy from making a career for himself. This is the residue, as it were, left over from Monty Python, cranking out some fairly funny stuff. It is now time for Across the Andes by Frog.
Ready, go! QEX, Channel 16, quite extraordinary television.
Okay, videotape freaks, you've got about 1 minute and 30 seconds to change cassettes. If you really want to get on to the next show, if you've used up your whole cassette. If you need cassette boxes, we're happy to sell them to you here at QEX. That's a whole other story. What we really want you to do is to call in and pledge at 622-1555. You may...
How do they do that?
Oh, yeah, give us a bit from your beta ad, from the famous beta ad.
Okay. Which bit do you want? The why am I so skinny? It's
Right.
because I eat beta tapes. It's the healthful alternative for the 80s. Or is it that I watch beta tapes? I'm not sure exactly which it is.
It's a series in and of itself. If you've never caught PJ doing his beta tape series, you haven't been watching enough QEX. That's obvious. Where are we? We got another ripping yarn?
Yeah, we're throwing the tape in just a couple of seconds for another ripping yarn. And we just wanted to remind you that the phone number is right there on the screen for you. And we have the phone lines open over here on the wall, and we're ready to go.
And it's about that time, so here we go. Back to ripping yarns. We'll be back in a bit.
From the beta deck of the video liner QE3, we're quite extraordinary WQEX Channel 16 in Pittsburgh.
Okay, Ripping Yarns is all done, but we're still staying in England. You're watching, by the way, the big event on Sunday night on QEX 16. We're going away from John Cleese and Michael Palin and that kind of stuff. We're going to go to Laurence Olivier, who made a movie back in 1938 called The Divorce of Lady X. And we're going to show the whole thing uninterrupted coming up in just a few seconds. In the meantime, we do want to take about 5 minutes of your time right now to remind you about something that's very important, certainly to us here at the station, but also very important for you at home. What are you pointing at? Oh, I'm still here. Okay. The important thing is that since we don't run commercials on QEX 16, since we're public broadcasting, the way we make our cash, our money, to buy the programs that you like to watch on Channel 16 is to ask you to pledge at the number that you see there on the screen. 622-1555 is the telephone number. So we have a good movie coming up for you in a second.
Right, and we have a picture of Laurence Olivier, which you're looking at right now, a tight shot. That's Laurence on...
That's Laurence on the left.
It's like doing it with in mirrors, man. Everything's backwards on television. I think Sir Laurence would be potentially upset to know he was in the company of such hooligans and rogues. That's what we've done tonight. But the object of all of this, if you've been here for a while, you know, and if you haven't, we're going to tell you right now, it's pledge time. And we don't quite do it the way our big brothers do it at QED. They tend to have very starchy, folk, and they look very formal and very official. We never button our ties, and frankly, it's late on a Sunday night. We've been at it here doing our Pledge Brothers routine for several hours. A World of Movies is a premium, and it is a very nice premium, and it has terrific pictures, and it comes, mind you, whoa.
Yeah, that's nice.
Show that? Whoa, yeah. I can't show that. PJ, please. $60 pledge premium. There are a number of premiums, and the point that I want to make while we're handling the phone calls and you're ringing in is that you don't have to pick the premiums now. You pick a pledge, we send you the confirmation forms. At that point, you can up your pledge, you can down your pledge, you can ignore your pledge. I mean, a few of you do that, and frankly, it's like a little upsetting. You can pick the pledge premium that you like. You look at the long list. If you want the rucksack, if you want the, the tote. Well, actually, we don't have tote bags.
We have little school bags, though, don't we?
School bags, but no tote bags.
Yeah.
I believe we may be the only public station in the country that doesn't have a tote bag.
Well, we ought to fix that. You're the boss.
No.
Absolutely, why not?
We do not have tote bags.
You pride yourself in not having a tote
There
bag.
it is. Look at that, right in. QEX. QEX. My kid's got his heart set on this. It cost me a $120 pledge, but I did it. And I did it with a MasterCard. I won't tell you the number, and I won't even let you have the carbon. We're about to do The Divorce of Lady X, which is in the sort of classic style of what came to be called British drawing room comedy. A comedy of manners and words, hardly a comedy of slapstick or of action, in the vein that we've seen in The Ripping Yarns, and somewhat more erudite and distinguished than what we saw in Fawlty Towers. Nevertheless, it's the kind of stuff you like. It kisses off a Sunday night. Say something before we do this program.
Something intelligent, or just sort of ramble on and fill time?
Ask for money.
Okay, we have about 2.5 more minutes to go. I'm telling you exactly how much more time we have before we start the Laurence Olivier movie. And the reason we're here, of course, is to ask you to dial 622-1555. Here's another premium here. For $180, if you pledge $180, you may want to choose this premium. It's the Film Encyclopedia. And when we VJs here at Channel 16 do some research on some of the stuff we have for you, for example, myself on Friday nights or on Sunday nights, when we're researching a movie, this is one of the first books we come to. It really is, if you're a film buff, something to have around. The Film Encyclopedia has a listing for just about everybody that's ever been in a film or connected with a film in one way or another. The writers, the directors, the producers, the actors, of course, and it lists a little bit of a biography on each person, and it has a complete listing of the movies that they were involved in. It's the Film Encyclopedia for $180. If you phone in a pledge of $180, that's one of the premiums that you might want to choose.
Can you believe, this is you saw it right here, I mean, unedited. I opened this, and I did not get Sir Laurence Olivier.
It's amazing.
I got Sir Alec Guinness.
Did you? A big,
born on April 2nd, 1914 in London, a former advertising copywriter. He studied acting at the Fay Compton Studio of Dramatic Arts. Not bad. I wonder if that's like the Columbia School of Broadcasting, not affiliated with CBS.
Probably not.
Hey, money time. Money Talks, Nobody Walks, 622-1555. Call us. We'll go away in a moment. We'll give you The Divorce of Lady X. We'll leave you alone. We'll see you, if not tonight, certainly on Monday. There is, I am sad to say, no Iran-Contra hearings this Monday. The hearings resume on Tuesday, 10 o'clock in the morning, right here on the big QEX.
And the phone number again, 622-1555. We do have some lines open for you. Go ahead, go over to the phone. You won't get a busy signal when you dial in. It'll take you maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so to get on the horn. Tell us how much money you want to pledge. I recommend a pledge of $120 because it's easily divisible by 12, and you can spread the payments out over 12 months, and it comes out to $10 a month. It's as simple as that. 120 bucks.
It's another night for the pledge.
Call in. 622-1555. Let's watch the movie.